know I spent all my free time.
Got your memory stick?
So I think it's, you know.
My husband was texting me. I'm like, where are you? He said, I'm home. I said, yeah, stay home at this point.
Ask him who's winning the game. I want to know who's winning the big game.
You want to know?
I actually put it on the desktop just because I wanted to make sure my flash. Oh, this is the first one.
I'll tell you, I have to stay here a minute and see if he answers.
Oh yeah, I think so. Pretty sure. That's it.
Did you hear in Maine they don't think all the snow's going to melt till July? Did you read that in the Globe? I said July. There's so much snow.
You know what?
Actually, how do you do
If we could all take our seats.
There's a slideshow in here. I don't know. I haven't done that. I'll just click on slideshow. Oh, okay.
LadyAwake.com.
What's the thing I have to do for,
How are you, Mark? Good? Huh?
Oh, I have to ask the CPC if that counts as an oral report, or what do I do?
After this, after you do the one.
Ah, now there's a town meeting I recognize. If Mrs. Pulowski and Mr. Witz are here, there's Jeff down the back and Mrs. Pulowski, if you over there. I'd like to thank you both for helping out. I know you got thrown into service. And just like my father taught me, if you do something and you do it well, it'll happen again. So thank you both, and I hope I didn't scare you from coming to future town meetings. If we could go to Article 15, Mr. Dardino.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Mr. Moderator, I move to pass over Article 15.
We have a motion to pass over. Mr. Dardino.
Selectmen unanimous recommend.
Finance Committee? And the Finance Committee recommends passing over. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Mr. Rowe?
I just had a question, why are we passing over?
We've already taken the vote. Were there any noes? Can't answer the question. The motion carries. The article's passed over. As a point of information, I'm going to guess that they had no funds to put into the retirement trust fund. Mr. Vino, Article 16.
Mr. Moderator, I move to accept the following gifts of land, Parcel 1, assesses map 16, parcel 18, consisting of approximately 5.2 acres, to be accepted by the Conservation Commission under GL Chapter 40, Section 8C, for conservation purposes. Parcel 2, assesses map 15, parcel 58, consisting of approximately 5.6 acres, to be accepted by the Conservation Commission under GL Chapter 40, Section 8C, for conservation purposes. Parcel 3, assesses map 53, parcel 115, consisting of 1.2 acres, to be accepted by the Board of Selectmen for municipal purposes as specified in Article 16 as printed in the warrant.
We have the motion. Does the Board of Selectmen wish to make a recommendation? Mr. Vino.
The Board of Selectmen recommend.
Does the Finance Committee wish to make a recommendation? For those who couldn't hear, the Finance Committee recommends 7-2. Discussion.
Glenn Leslie, 16 Lindau Road. If you look at parcel 3, map 53, I am in a butter of that wonderful strip of land. And it does not say conservation purposes, it says municipal purposes. So, like, can someone clarify for me what that means? Does that mean street? Does that mean parking garage? Does that mean, you know, horse ranch? Because the whole thing out there was supposed to be conservation land when I moved here, and all of a sudden there's 24 houses out back. Beautiful houses, I might add. So I just want to clarify what municipal purposes mean.
Mr. Messeri.
It is the intent of the board to, since this land is being given to us, and the reason why we kept it in the municipal area rather than CPC, conservation, is that it gives us the opportunity to sell that land to the abutters. There may be some abutters that could use pieces of that land. So that was our intent.
You want to sell me some? Because I'll buy some. I'm serious. Okay, so do I do that here at town meeting, or do I speak to you afterwards?
Not tonight, you don't.
Well, how do I go about doing this? Just answer that question and I'm done. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Mrs. Capizzuto.
Is this working? Loretta Capizzuto, 12 Duane Drive. I had the same concerns for parcel 3, which is sort of behind where I live. If it is deemed for municipal purposes, does that mean that the town could put a cell tower on that little strip there? Will someone please just, I can't hear what you're answering.
Mr. O'Leary.
That is neither the intent nor purpose of the for the request. Plus, there's no access.
With the current board,
Plus, there's no access. There's no access for us really to get this. So it is the intent of it's the intent of the board to purchase this land, put it under municipal purposes, so that we can sell it to direct abutters, put it back on the tax rolls. So there's no.
Okay, thank you.
That's the purpose of the article.
Ms. Mitchner.
Thank you. Lori Michener, Marblehead Street. I was curious if conservation has been out to determine if parcel 3 is ecologically different from 1 or 2, and if so, if they're going to maybe turn that into conservation land, not municipal land?
Does someone from Conservation or CPC wish to address the question? Mr. Hayden.
Chris Hayden, Community Plan Commission. If I understand your question right, ma'am, you think that parcel 3, parcel 1, and parcel 2 abut each other?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't think from what we're seeing here, I'm not sure it's wet. If it is, they could still be used by the abutters if that's what the selectmen are looking for.
Right, I understand that. I was just curious if anyone had been out to assess it, because I know one of the issues in town is preserving things such as vernal pools. And even if it's not wet now, it may be at some point. I didn't know if any soil tests were done to determine if we could preserve or conserve this land indefinitely. Whereas just because it's set aside as municipal, my issue is not, I don't live near there, but it is a small strip of land and maybe it should be kept in conservation. We can conserve other areas of land besides wetlands for their ecological value.
Mr. O'Leary.
We haven't done a formal assessment of the whole thing here, but this does not preclude us, once we take possession of it, from turning it over to conservation if that's what we deem to do in the best interest of everybody later on. I mean, but at this particular point in time, it's a parcel of land which is landlocked. The developers who originally developed that the development there has no use for it. They can either continue to pay taxes on it, I don't know why they would, or they could turn it over to us, gift it to us, or they could just stop paying and we'd end up owning it for tax title anyway. So what this does is provide the board with the opportunity to dispose of it properly, whether it be in the best interest of the neighborhood or to conservation later on. So we'd urge you to vote yes.
Further discussion? Seeing none, this requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Yep. Opposed? Motion carries. I'm sorry, Mr. O'Leary.
Article 17, I move to authorize the Board of Selectmen to lease land owned by the town under the care, custody, and control of the Board of Selectmen and located at 55 Swan Pond Road, identified as Assessors Map 74, Parcel 69, for the purpose of leasing a portion of such land to a telecommunications service provider for such term of years as may be longer than 10 years, and on such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen may determine, and further to authorize the granting of utility access easements as are necessary to support such a facility as specified in Article 17 as printed in the warrant.
We have the motion. Does the Board of Selectmen wish to make a recommendation? Mr. O'Leary.
Board of Selectmen recommends.
Does the Finance Committee wish to make a recommendation? For those who couldn't hear, the Finance Committee recommends. Discussion.
Hi, Celeste Hastings, 6 Angel Road. After attending numerous zoning board and CPC meetings, it was decided that the public safety antennas for the police and fire department would take priority on the Swan Pond water tower, and only if there was enough space would the town then entertain leasing any additional space on the tower, which enough space was doubtful at the time of discussion. Can you please comment on the public safety antenna installation if in fact this has taken place before we vote on leasing additional space?
Mr. O'Leary.
That has already taken place, and the public safety antennas are already on the towers. They're working fine, thank you, because that was a dead zone in town. It was a vital improvement to our communication system.
Dan Shed, 6 Fox Run Lane. My question is, that's about 1.7 million square feet of land. Right now you're talking about only the water tower. Is there going to be additional building going on in there, or is that just on the water tower exclusively?
I'm sorry, the intent is just to the water tower.
Okay, can we basically put it to the record there's only going to be based around the water tower and wouldn't be crossing over Swan Pond Road?
I'm sorry, I can't hear, sir.
There will be nothing going on the other side of Swan Pond Road, because that one...
There's nothing, no. This is specifically for the water tower. We have a proposal, request for proposal went out. We have a bid in, and if you recall earlier on in the budget presentation, there was approximately $22,000 specified under the operating budget, non-override budget. Included in that was the revenue anticipated for the lease of this space on the tower.
Okay, does that mean that the long-term plan is the school committee will not have that land anymore for future development?
Would not have what? Yes, oh no, that would not preclude.